What we have here are two facelifted electric family SUVs. This is the Tesla Model Y Juniper, and this is the Volkswagen ID.5 GTX. Now, both car companies have courted controversy. This brand has been torched, literally and figuratively, and this brand has recently emerged from an emissions cheating scandal. But I'm not here to talk politics. I'm here to evaluate these vehicles on their merits. So I'm going to test the in-car tech. I'm going to see which one drives better, which one has better energy efficiency, and which one is more practical to determine a winner. Let's do it. Both cars are 5-door, 5-seat family SUVs with all the mod cons and fancy new designs. Technically categorised as mid-size SUVs in Australia, both have reasonably large battery packs feeding dual motors that offer plenty of power, and both brandish luxurious interior finishes. Savvy. The facelifted 2025 Tesla Model Y Juniper has just been launched in Australia, and it's a solid improvement on its predecessor. The ID.5 first went on sale in Europe in 2022, and it's only just been introduced into Australia, but because it's so late, it means we get the upgraded, facelifted model to start with. The Model Y is a bigger vehicle, roughly 20 centimetres longer and 10 centimetres wider on the outside, but they both have generous passenger and boot space. And make no mistake, these vehicles are crucial for their respective brands, not only because they ply their trade in the ultra-popular mid-size SUV segment, but also because they have something to prove. It feels a bit weird to say this, but these electric family SUVs represent pretty reasonable value at around $70,000. This long-range all-wheel drive Tesla Model Y kicks off at just under $70,000, but our model has several options fitted, including the white synthetic leather interior, the Quicksilver paint job, and full self-driving, or FSD. That jacks the price up to $83,000, and when you add on-road costs, you're looking at close to $90,000. Dial back to the base prices, and the ID.5 GTX is a little bit more expensive, starts at just under $73,000, but it comes with a lot of equipment. You get bigger wheels, you get fancier seats, and there aren't as many options. There's only two, and this one has both of them. You got that gloss black highlights and the black contrasting roof, and the blue dusk metallic paint job. The Tesla comes with a 4-year short distance warranty, while the Volkswagen has more appealing 5-year long distance factory backing. VW's cap price service intervals are set every 2 years or 30,000 kilometres, which is very impressive, while the Tesla has no set service intervals. The car apparently figures it all out. EVs need to be aerodynamic. It increases their cruising range, and the Model Y Juniper slices through the air like a digital samurai, thanks to new front and rear bumpers, more aerodynamic mirrors, and those 19-inch alloy wheels, whose aero shields can be removed. The full-width light bar up front has Cybertruck vibes and houses integrated indicators with matrix LED headlights below that. Subtle front vents smooth the airflow around the car's flanks, and if you look at the back of the vehicle, you'll find a sleek 1.6 metre long tail light setup, and there's also a thermoplastic spoiler which help complete the transformation from blob to blade. The VW ID.5 GTX name plays on the GTI moniker, where X stands for all-wheel drive, and I quite like the look. It's sportier than its Chinese-built rival over there, the coupe-like silhouette emphasised by that small rear deck lid and a rather classy integrated wing. Gloss black highlights are nice, as is the contrasting roof, and 20-inch alloy wheels shod with Pirelli Scorpion tyres look good as well. Distinctive matrix LED headlights, called IQ in VW speak, flank a full-width light bar at the front, plus there's lower LED fog lights as well. But it's the tail lights that really steal the show here. The individual LED units blend technology and art to impressive effect, and the animated indicators are a nice touch too. This Tesla Model Y long-range all-wheel drive dual-motor SUV pumps out 331 kilowatts, and the Volkswagen has a little bit less mumbo, 250 kilowatts from its dual motors. This one's heavier too, and naturally, on paper, This one is a bit slower, 0 to 100 in 5.4 seconds, 4.8 seconds for this one. But our testing showed the Volkswagen to be ever so slightly quicker and edged in front to 60 kilometers an hour. When they got to 100, this one went in front, but we're talking very small amounts here. They were very close.
Ludicrous speed, go!
While Tesla doesn't officially disclose battery specs, Chinese certification figures reveal what the company will not. And that means this vehicle retains the circa 75 kilowatt nickel manganese cobalt battery pack from its predecessor. It's good for a WLTP range of 551 kilometers, claims Tesla. While over here in the Volkswagen, you get a slightly bigger 84 kilowatt hour lithium-ion battery of the same chemistry, NMC, but this one has slightly lower range, 522 kilometers on the WLTP cycle. The Tesla's electrical architecture allows for recharging rates of up to 250 kilowatts versus a 175 kilowatt ceiling for the Volkswagen. So in theory, this one will charge a little bit faster when using public DC fast chargers from the likes of ChargeFox EV and of course Tesla's own supercharger network. So on those DC fast chargers, these two vehicles will take around half an hour to go from 10 to 80%. But if you're using an 11 kilowatt wall box that you might get installed at home or you might find at work, it'll take about 8 hours to go from 0 to 100%. And if you're charging at home on a conventional power point, it will take a glacial 30 hours plus to bring these up to 100%. The Tesla supercharging network remains a key selling point for the Tesla. These fast chargers are arguably the most reliable in the country and there are lots of them. However, you can use them with any EV now, but not all of them. There's still about 30% or so of them that are only exclusively available for this. But on the flip side, this doesn't come with any cables whatsoever. You've got to pay extra for them. So if you want to charge at home, you've got to shell out a bit more. This one comes with mode 2 and 3 cables as standard. Let's start with the Tesla Model Y, which has a surprisingly Scandinavian aesthetic, and that's sort of brought about by these wool-like fabrics on the doors and dash. It's nice, it gives it a refined atmosphere, and the overall design is very sleek and minimalist, and it kind of works. And mercy be, the indicators are now on a stalk. They've brought a stalk back because the Model 3 had them on the steering wheel, 2 buttons, and it was a mess. In terms of fit and finish, the Model Y's interior quality and overall build quality for that matter has improved. The 8-way power adjustable synthetic leather seats with 4-way power lumbar aren't just a visual upgrade either. They have new contouring and the perforated chairs offer both heating and ventilation now. High-grade plastics throughout the interior elevate the experience. Even down low on the doors, it's quite nice. And little thoughtful touches like the door pockets completely covered in carpet so the bottles don't clank and bang when they're moving around in the car. Little things like that, I like that. Double glazed, acoustically insulated and solar reflecting glass keep the cabin cooler and quieter, while ambient lighting adds extra visual flair. The 15-speaker sound system is a showstopper with audiophile-grade graphic equalization that ensures podcasts and music have impressively high-fidelity audio. Okay, cabin storage features in the Tesla start with this center bin here, medium size, 1 USB-C port. I need at least 3 USB-C ports when I've got the family in tow. That's a bit weak sauce, but they've cleaned up this area here, which is nice, and you've got concealable storage. 2 cup holders, they've got sort of rubber spring loading. Can get my 1 litre bottle in there, no drama. I've lost the blue Mega Gulp, so I've got this I've got this cocktail shaker. And that fits too, although it does have a narrow waist. Now, what I love about this is these softly damped closing lids here. This works really well for my OCD. It just cleans up everything. I don't have to look at all the crap filling this up, which is inevitable in family duties. But this box here is huge. You could fit a pair of kicks in there, no drama. And there's a 12-volt socket in there as well. Incidental storage, not so good. There's 2 wireless phone chargers here and not much else. So yeah, you've got the glove box here that opens via the touchscreen. And the saving grace though are these door pockets. Like, I can fit the 1 litre bottle and the 750 ml bottle in there, easy peasy. That's nice. The Tesla's entire digital universe revolves around a sizable 15.4-inch central touchscreen, your singular control center for virtually everything except the most basic driving functions, such as cruise control indicators and windscreen wipers. Tesla's minimalist philosophy reaches its apex here. There's no driver display, no head-up display, just one sprawling screen demanding your attention. While branded as innovative, it feels more like cost-cutting masquerading as nouveau tech austerity because it forces you to dive into the menus to do simple things that should be instantaneous. Every interaction becomes a visual treasure hunt, pulling your eyes from the road to adjust climate settings or check vehicle data. If I sat my parents down in this vehicle, they would walk away. It would simply be too hard for them to figure out. That said, the voice control system offers some redemption, and quirky features like the air vent swing mode add a touch of tech charm. But convenience? Well, I think that's still loading. The speedometer sits oddly in the corner, but you do adapt quickly. The gear selector demands a precise touch, forward for drive, back for reverse, and tap or hold to park. Under pressure, its finicky nature can turn a quick U-turn into an embarrassing automotive stumble. And while the big screen buttonless approach isn't really my cup of tea, Tesla's execution is arguably the gold standard in digital minimalism. The menu architecture flows with Silicon Valley intuitiveness, backed by processing power that responds to touch with near instantaneous precision. It's got a lot of compute, this one. That the system lacks Android Auto and Apple CarPlay would usually be a deal breaker in lesser vehicles, but this system is so polished, you'll barely notice their absence. Spotify integration and a rock-solid sat-nav system ensure you're not just tolerating the system, you're actually enjoying it. Bonus points for quirky features like dog mode, which will impress pet owners and transforms the car into a four-legged friend's climate-controlled sanctuary. And there's also an ability to add Bluetooth controllers for what is a very high-quality range of video games built in. Tesla's parking camera setup delivers crisp visuals from multiple angles, but falls short of the seamless integration expected from a tech-forward brand. Instead of a true 360-degree view, you get a somewhat disjointed collage, and the overhead perspective takes on a virtual appearance without photorealism. The saving grace? A nifty front camera cleaning system, a little squirter that ensures your digital eye stays sparkling clean. Where the Tesla bathes its occupants in stark white minimalism, this interior is far more broody. It's got a bit of a Dark Knight aesthetic, and I don't mind that. Plus, it's a more conventional interior layout. You've got twin digital screens, and there's a few more physical buttons as well for the temperature. You've got a gear shifter, and also for the lights and the mirrors. What's not so conventional are these bad boys. There's no fixed center armrest with a bin underneath it, so instead you've got these adjustable armrests that can be set at different levels, and yeah, they're actually pretty useful. It has a very Golf GTI look and feel, with gloss black and red highlights adding a nice contrast to the ocean of grey and black. Major touch points like the gorgeous leather steering wheel and soft door inserts feel great, and the pedals with their play and pause icons are neat little touches. I like these Volkswagen seats a little bit more than the Tesla pews, mainly because they've got better body contouring. The bolsters are a little bit more aggressive and they hug your body a bit more. Plus, the cushions are just a hint more, they're a little bit more firm, a little bit more supportive. The synthetic suede finish on the seats, dubbed Art Velour, is really nice, and it won't burn your buttocks after the car's sitting in the hot sun. And while they do have a heating function, they miss out on the cooling system of the Tesla seats. That said, both front pews have 2 memory settings and a rather nice massage function. Most of the materials above the belt line in this VW are of a high quality, but below the belt line are some scratchy plastics, something you won't find in the Tesla. You get ambient lighting with 30 different colors that you can toggle via themes, and they have inspiring names like Desire and Infinity. And although the stereo gets 12 speakers versus 15 in the Tesla, the 480 watt Harman Kardon setup is very, very good, almost on par with the Tesla, and it gets more graphic equalization as well. You might be thinking stereo schmerio, but in the world of EVs, the audio system is even more important because the vehicles are inherently quieter most of the time.
Listen, you smell something?
Cabin storage in the Volkswagen is not as generous as the Tesla, but it is more flexible. There's a bit more room for odds and sods and little things. So this area here, for instance, has this little divider that can go in different spots. So you could put a bottle there, and then you could put like your keys and wallet or whatever in that section. So that's pretty cool. And then you've got two USB-C ports that pump out 45 watts of power. That's pretty good. That's enough to charge your laptop using just a standard USB-C cable. However, it should be noted, the Tesla has 65 watt USB-C ports, so both very fast charging. You've got a wireless phone charger down here, twin cup holders, so 750ml goes in there. The cocktail shaker goes in there. That's pretty good. And how's this as well? If you don't want the cup holders there, you can pull this out for a bit of extra space. Here you go, Ren. Thanks, buddy. Oh, no, back we go. No problem. Other storage features include the glove box. That's bigger than the Tesla. And the door pockets also carpeted and also fit both these bottles. So that's impressive. One thing that's a bit annoying is this area under here. It's wasted space, and please, car makers, don't waste this space. We need extra space for a never-ending junk. Thank you. The VW's digital cockpit unfolds across a 12.9-inch central touchscreen and a 5.3-inch digital instrument cluster, a more conventional approach to in-car technology that is more practical and usable from the outset. This traditional user interface is arguably more intuitive. It's very easy to get around. You know exactly what you're doing. You don't have to sort of acclimatize to it. But it does have a bit of a Fisher-Price feel compared to the Tesla. The level of granularity, the ability to drill down into menus and really customize everything just isn't as detailed in this particular vehicle. Unlike Tesla's all-or-nothing approach, the ID.5 GTX offers several physical controls alongside digital interfaces, such as temperature, volume adjustment, plus all the controls for the lights and the mirrors. Voice control provides a partial escape route, but the lack of native GPS sat-nav is disappointing. Check it out. Take me to Bunnings.
Sorry, your infotainment system does not have a navigation function.
Luckily, it does come with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which makes the whole shebang a million times better and easier to use. I like that there's a digital driver's display, so your eyes don't need to spend as many milliseconds away from the road ahead. But it has the functionality of burnt toast. You do get the speedo, predicted range, and some other data, but this is a missed opportunity. Volkswagen could have easily added a bunch of customizability here, yet there is virtually none. The physical gear shifter is a nice touch, and it's a bit like the Hyundai Doohickey, where you twist forward to go forward, twist back to go back. Nice and intuitive. You get used to that pretty quickly. And there's a whole bunch of physical controls down here, such as for the lights, for the ventilation, and also the mirrors and the child locks, all of which you have to do via the touchscreen on the Tesla. So that's a good point. However, you've only got two window switches. It feels like Volkswagen has cheaped out here. So to adjust the rear windows, you have to touch this button here and then push the same controls. Bit weird. The reversing camera in the VW is not quite as sharp, nor the image as large compared to the Tesla, but it does have a proper 360-degree overhead view, which helps when parking in tighter spots. There's a few different angles and you can enlarge the screen, and yes, there is a squirter in this one too, but it's on the rear camera, which kind of makes more sense to me. The Tesla has a very solid app that allows various functions, including unlocking and starting the car. And the VW has its own Go Connect app, but it has limited functionality in comparison. Both cars have solid equipment levels, but ultimately your choice will probably be swayed by whether you prefer nouveau minimalism or classic sportiness. The Tesla has 7 airbags, as does the VW, and the latter has a 5-star ANCAP safety rating. It's likely the new Model Y Juniper will get a top safety score from Independent Safety Authority ANCAP in the near future, given its predecessor has a 5-star safety rating from 2022. The back of the Tesla is a spacious sanctuary. I love the synthetic leather, again, very soft, very supple. The contouring is not amazing, but I've got good under thigh support. You've got adjustable headrests here, which you don't get at the front, which is weird. I feel like these should be adjustable, but whatever. For a 6-foot human, there is loads of room here. I can get my feet right under the seats. I've got loads of leg room, and headroom too is really good because this glass roof goes all the way to the edge of the roof rails. It's really good, and this curved glass roof is sensational. The views are fantastic. Only thing is, Tesla says they've upgraded this with improved solar reflective elements, but it still gets stinking hot in here. I think the best bet is to go to the Tesla store and order that $100 sunshade. That would be my recommendation. Amenity is pretty good. You've got seat back pockets here. You've got the door pockets as well. Fuzzy again, covered in carpet. I like that. Fold out armrest with cup holders so you can sort of lounge back here. It's comfortable, it's good. 2 USB-C ports, that's great. You've got the twin air vents. You've got to adjust them via the touchscreen, which is a little bit fiddly, but it's not the end of the world. And these lovely soft open and close coat hooks and touch button reading lights. We're gonna go off, there we go. The back seat hero is without doubt this 8-inch touchscreen, so that's how you adjust the air vents, but there's a lot you can do back here. So you've got Netflix, you've got Twitch, you've got YouTube, and you can connect Bluetooth headphones to this system. So you can connect 2 separate Bluetooth headphones, so people in the back aren't annoying the people in the front. Plus, there's a whole bunch of video games like in the front as well, which is absolutely fantastic. This is such a good functional feature, and families are going to love it. Plus, in the front seat, you can lock out the rear screen if the kids have been a bit annoying. And there is also the ability to adjust the level of the seats here. You can recline them a little bit, and as per usual, you've got all the child seat anchorage ports as well. You've got twin ISOFIX and triple top tether. Okie dokie, the back seat of the VW, and right away it feels just a little bit tighter, which is interesting because I've measured them both door to door. They're almost exactly the same, 145 centimeters. But the difference in this vehicle is twofold. The dark materials definitely make it feel a bit more claustrophobic. The white has this more airy feeling, and also the glass roof. In the Tesla, it goes further back, it goes further down the roof rails, whereas this one, it's much closer to my noggin, so headroom is a little bit tighter for sure. But look, in most other metrics, it's pretty good. Legroom is really good. The under thigh support is good. I can get my feet under the seats here, but they're a little bit tight, but that's a good thing in my book because it means these front seats go nice and low, much lower than in the Tesla. And I don't mind the seating position in the Tesla, but I much prefer sitting as close to the ground as I can in cars I'm driving. So thumbs up for those seats that go nice and low in the Volkswagen. The contouring is a little bit better than in the Tesla. And again, these sort of microfiber suede seats are really nice. The headrests are a bit softer too. So yeah, you could definitely have a nice little kip back here, I reckon. Amenity in the VW is pretty good, especially compared to conventional cars. You've got the twin USB-C ports, you've got twin adjustable air vents with a unique climate zone back here so you can set your temperature. Lots of storage, a little foam pocket there, and you've got a little something else pocket there. Jesus handles, something the Tesla does not have. You've got the door pockets, fold out armrests with cup holders to make things nice and comfortable. And of course, you've got twin ISOFIX and triple top tether anchorages for child seat provisions. One thing it does miss out on is that 8-inch touchscreen. So if you're chilling out in the back here, you're probably gonna have to bring your own entertainment. It's not the end of the world, but one thing it does get that I like is a physical sun blind. It's a little bit opaque, but it's better than nothing, and it certainly is good for sun-scorched Aussies. The power-operated boot of the Tesla can be opened with a button. You can use the app, or being within close proximity of it will also open it, which is kind of handy, and it is big. This is a big boot. You could fit dozens of bags of mulch in here, and this reprofiled underfloor section is very, very handy. It's big, and you've got this new bracket to store the cargo cover. Pretty neat. The rear cargo cover is solid. It magnetically locks into place and you can put stuff on top. Neat. This is a really cool feature. Hit these buttons here and the rear seats fold down automatically, and it's not too slow either. So now you've got even more room for even more bags of mulch. And if that front seat, either front seat is in the way, they will automatically move out of the way to make room for it. So while the cargo game is strong in this vehicle, amenity not so good. You've got one little LED light here, but no tie down hooks, no bag covers, and no 12-volt socket that I could find. But you do get a very versatile frunk. They've made a little tweak to this. It's the same size, but now it has a drainage plug. So you can fill that up with water, you can put ice in there, have a bit of a, a party with a whole bunch of drinks. And the seals are really good too, so you could probably even keep things warm. And there's gonna be accessories coming for this as well, so pretty cool. So the Volkswagen also has a power operated tailgate that reveals a slightly smaller cargo space than the Tesla, but it has much better amenity. For starters, you've got two LED lights that provide excellent illumination, good for loading and unloading things at night. There are 4 tie-down hooks, there's 2 bag hooks, there's a 12-volt socket, and there's a cargo net, none of which you get in the Tesla. So this one is slightly wider between the wheel arches than the Tesla, but it's not quite as long. And if you look at the underfloor space, it's not as cavernous either. Another thing is the cargo cover. It's rigid and it can't be stored inside the vehicle. Well, not easily. Disappointingly, the Volkswagen has no frunk, and given this is a clean sheet EV, this is really quite stultifying. What gives? While the Tesla has that powered seat folding mechanism, easy to do, this one not so much. It's a manual mechanism and it's very hard to reach from the boot. You've pretty much got to get into the back seat to do it. But the seats do split fold there, so that's good. And neither vehicle has a spare tire, which sucks. The Volkswagen has a more approachable and familiar interior concept than the Tesla, but this one has better packaging for sure. And that whole idea sort of relates to the way they drive as well. Let's do it. Starting with the Tesla, and right away this feels more sophisticated and more comfortable than the pre-facelifted Model Y and its predecessor. That vehicle was fairly stiff and a little bit uncompromising. And the big reason for the change in how it interacts with the road, what makes it more comfortable, is the fitment of frequency selective dampers. Similar to the updated shock absorbers used in the Model 3, the Model Y Juniper tracks smoothly over rough roads with impressive compliance, absorbing bigger hits and potholes more seamlessly than before. It does sometimes struggle on high amplitude bumps like mid-quarter corrugations. But overall, the suspension changes really transformed this family SUV. It's just got more composure across a wider range of road surfaces, and the ride quality definitely has a more premium feel to it now. Handling dynamics are pretty good for a 2-ton wagon. It generates plenty of tire grip from the EV-specific Hankooks, and body roll isn't too bad, but I wouldn't go as far to say it's fun to drive. It's really, really quick in a straight line, but this hypersensitive steering means you often dial in more input than you actually need, so you sort of apex the corners too early. It's a strange feeling. You learn quickly to use less steering lock. And speaking of the steering, it's got a lot of weight to it, which I personally don't mind, but the small steering wheel's elevated spokes place your hands at 10 and 2 o'clock. I prefer the traditional 9 and 3 positions. The driving sensation is almost like playing a video game, but what makes this over-eager on the open road actually turns into a boon in the burbs, and in the cut and thrust urban and city traffic, it works really well. That sensitive steering and the fact it's so quick to respond is really quite handy and makes everyday driving and urban driving a lot easier. But the brake pedal feels wooden. It's almost binary compared to the progressive modulation of the VW. But to Tesla's credit, it now offers 2 brake regen settings, reduced and standard, something that's been missing on Teslas in Australia for a few years. Tesla's e-motors have always been punchy, and this one is no different. Whether accelerating while in motion or coming to a standstill like we are now and punching away, it's pretty impressive. And ultimately, there's more than enough pace than anyone could really want or need. Refinement levels are very good in the Model Y, and it's slightly quieter in the cabin than the Volkswagen. Tesla claims a 20% reduction in cabin noise, largely thanks to the fitment of acoustic glass. Visibility is average, so the windscreen is really big, that's really good, the side windows too, but the A-pillars are very thick, thicker than in the Volkswagen. The rear pillars too, super chunky, so that makes head checks a little bit tricky at times. Then you've got the rear view through the central mirror, and it is very pinched, it's very narrow, and it's quite elevated, so you're only going to see the tops of cars behind you. It's not great. I think an elegant workaround would be to add a digital mirror here. You flick a button and then it gives you a video feed from the back, and Bob's your uncle. I mean, it can't be that expensive. You know, if the Nissan X-Trail's got it, why can't this $70,000 Tesla Model Y? There's a blind spot digital video feed that pops up when you flick on the indicator, but once again, it takes your attention well away from the road to even glance at it. The Tesla has a unique arcade game persona, but this one, the Volkswagen, is far more conventional in a dynamic sense, and you pick that up from the moment you get in the car. It's more familiar, and there's no learning curve. It's just get in and go. Ride comfort is surprisingly good in the VW, thanks largely to its adaptive dampers, something the Tesla misses out on. These adjustable shock absorbers have, quite frankly, a shocking amount of adjustability. There are 15 different settings from plush to punishing, and it's worth going full cushy cruiser around town and on boring freeway trips. But if you want more body control, you can dial up the stiffness, and it's a really good system and it works. When push comes to shove, the ID.5 GTX is a more adept corner carver than the Tesla. It's more fun and more rewarding to drive fast and tracks through corners with more spirit. When you pump it along, it definitely feels like it's got a lower center of gravity than the Tesla, and it rotates through corners more keenly. And there's also the fact that it has a more rear drive feel. When you punch out of corners, it definitely feels a bit more oversteer than the neutral sort of attitude of the Tesla. Despite having significantly better brake pedal feel, shockingly, this car has drum brakes on the rear axle. What the Sigma? That said, the anchors are more than up to the task and are aided by regenerative braking. In terms of straight line speed, the Tesla feels faster, much faster. It pins you into your seat, whereas this one is almost unassuming in the way it motivates. But our testing shows that this thing is pretty much as fast, and it definitely keeps the Tesla honest during the traffic light tango. Refinement levels favour the Tesla just. The VW has slightly more tyre roar at freeway speeds, and we noticed a little wind noise and a bit of whistle around the driver's side mirror and the roof, but overall it's impressively quiet and refined. When it comes to visibility, the Volkswagen doesn't have the blind spot video feed like the Tesla, but rearward vision through the mirror is sensational compared to the Tesla. I mean, it's actually pretty average compared to most cars, but you get almost double the height. You don't have that tiny little letterbox like you do in the Tesla. Plus, the A pillars are a bit thinner, the rear pillars are a bit thinner as well. Overall visibility, better in the Volkswagen. Energy efficiency will be a key deciding factor for many buyers, and long story short, the Tesla used less energy over our test loop. The loop involved a mixture of city, urban, highway and dynamic roads, and the Tesla was more efficient overall. Focusing purely on urban and city driving, the Volkswagen dropped a little bit further behind. When it comes to safety tech and autonomous driving, both vehicles do a pretty good job of accelerating braking and turning by themselves. Look at this. Much like the drive experience, however, the Tesla is far more eager in its intervention than the Volkswagen, which has a more nuanced and progressive calibration. And that $10,000 outlay for the FSD or full self-driving package is wasted because you can't legally use it in Australia yet. That said, the autopilot system in the Tesla is very effective if you let it guide you. Overall, the VW is the better steer. It's more engaging and tactile in pretty much every situation and has a wider breadth of ability than the Tesla. That said, the Tesla is much improved, and as an A to B proposition, it stacks up very well. When you compare these cars' features, equipment levels, and overall value, it's a very, very close race, which says a lot for the Volkswagen. The fact that the VW is also nicer to drive in pretty much all scenarios is definitely saying something. And it's a more conventionally executed vehicle. Depending on your views, that could either be a positive or a negative. So if the drive experience is a crucial factor for you, then the VW is the better choice, and I reckon it represents reasonable value for money. That said, the Tesla pulls ahead in terms of energy efficiency, tech, and EV packaging, with more space in the cabin and more in the cargo areas. It's also more affordable if you don't add options, and I have to admit, it's a big improvement over what came before it. It's fair to say both these brands have had considerable PR challenges in their time, but if you take the politics out of the equation, you're looking at a pair of highly recommendable EVs. But ultimately, there can only be one winner, and I'm handing it to the Tesla because it simply ticks more boxes and is the better overall family chariot. Thanks for watching, hope you liked the video. And which would you choose, the more conventional VW or the Tesla Model Y? Have your say in the comments below, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time.